report of President Biden introducing his pick for the Supreme Court, Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson.
For more on this nomination, let's bring in retired U.S. District Judge Vanessa Gilmore. Judge Gilmore, welcome. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So before we delve into the specifics of Judge Jackson's background, I wonder if I can just get your thoughts, your reflections on the historic nature of this nomination.
I sit here today beaming with pride at the hope and prospect of Judge Jackson becoming confirmed as a United States Supreme Court judge. She is more than qualified to take this position, but so many of us are so very proud of the work that she's done. I've spoken with a number of her former classmates from Harvard this morning, and they are all sitting on pins and needles and praying fervently for her to be confirmed.
And Judge, as we just heard in the special report, the other potential candidates were equally qualified for this position. What do you think it was about Judge Jackson that set her apart from the other potential picks?
You are absolutely right. All of them were qualified to serve as Supreme Court justices. I think that the thing that sets Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson apart from the others is a couple of things. One, she was Justice Breyer's former law clerk. She clerked for not one, not two, but three federal judges on the district court level, the appellate court level, and also on the Supreme Court level. 8 of the 9 sitting justices came from the Court of Appeals. She's on the D.C. Court of Appeals. 8 of the 9 sitting justices attended Ivy League schools. She attended an Ivy League school for both undergraduate and graduate school. She has the breadth of experience that makes her very unique in this situation. She's worked as a federal public defender. She's worked on the United States Sentencing Commission. She's worked in law firms, both small and large. And so a lot of things about her background make her uniquely qualified for this position, and I think somebody that the president was confident to choose as his pick for the nomination to the Supreme Court.
Senator Cory Booker mentioned earlier on our CBS News special report that in the history of the Supreme Court, 108 of the 115 justices have been white men. But race and gender notwithstanding, how does the judge's professional experience differ from the rest of the court?
I don't think that there is another justice who has actually worked defending persons who have been charged with criminal matters. Judge Jackson will be unique in that regard. Additionally, her work on the Sentencing Commission was extremely important for all of us who sit on the federal courts in the United States. She was one of the persons who helped spearhead a look at the unfair disparity between the sentences that we gave for crack and powder cocaine sentencing. And she helped to navigate that through bipartisan support of both Republicans and Democrats on the Sentencing Commission to make that change so that our sentencing was more fair and more even across the board. She's shown that she has the ability to work across the aisle and work with both parties, people from both parties, to create good decisions and to make things happen.
Judge Gilmore, as you well know, there is ample evidence of the inequalities that exist in our criminal justice system. And I wonder what you think the effect, if she is in fact confirmed to be a Supreme Court justice, her actual position will have, if any, on the course and the future trajectory. She is only 51 years old. But the future trajectory potentially when we're talking about those kinds of inequalities.
I think that her background is so interesting in that regard. Having family members that are involved in law enforcement, an uncle who was chief of police in Miami, a brother who served as a police officer in the city of Baltimore, and then also having some member of her family who's been subjected to the criminal justice system, as she mentioned during her speech. Not only that, just the fact that she worked as a assistant federal public defender, which means that she got to see both sides of the coin in terms of what happens in the criminal justice system, having worked as a federal public defender. And then also her work on the Sentencing Commission was immensely valuable. I think that breadth of experience will certainly inform her thought processes in terms of the way that she looks at criminal cases, and it gives her a broader perspective. I think that it is important for every point of view, every perspective to be at the table when these kinds of important decisions are being made. Otherwise, you end up with a situation where people unknowingly, unconsciously, because of their own background and own experiences, may make decisions that are somewhat biased because they just haven't had the range or breadth of knowledge and experience that others have had. Even interestingly, this is Black History Month. I speak a lot during Black History Month, and one of the speeches I give is about the Muhammad Ali case, and that was tried right in my court in Houston. And the decision in the Muhammad Ali case actually was changed as a result of one of the justice's law clerks bringing him a book helping him understand the religious basis of Muhammad Ali's decision-making process in terms of why he didn't step forward to be drafted. And that actually changed the outcome of that case and reversed the conviction. And so sometimes you have other people who bring you points of view, bring you information, and help you look at things in a way that you may not have considered. And I'm hoping and thinking that that is what is going to happen with Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson. From everything that I've heard from her friends that she went to law school with, a friend of mine who's a law professor here, Najri Rutledge, she is kind, she is sensitive, she is engaging, she is the kind of person that people want to talk with, want to have conversations with, and want to understand her point of view.
By all accounts, a great mind, a wonderful human. And Judge Jackson has recently gone through a confirmation. Just last year, she was confirmed to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit. But how will the Supreme Court, the nation's highest court, confirmation process differ? And I'm curious what you think some of the topics will be focused on during her confirmation process.
I think that the confirmations of the Supreme Court is different because the senators are considering the fact that whoever is appointed will probably be there for the next 25 to 30 years. If Amy Coney Barrett stays on the bench as long as Justice Ginsburg did, she'll be on the Supreme Court until 2059. Everybody has that in mind when they're thinking about who they are placing on the Supreme Court, which is a little bit different than the thought process that they go through when they think about who is going to be on the Court of Appeals. They want to understand what her long-term view might be on things. But the reality is she is going to be looking at issues and considering cases about things that we have never even considered or thought about before. Even in recent years, new types of cases involving cybersecurity and what happens to commerce and the new online economy. All those things are issues that weren't even around 10 years ago. So to try to predict what kinds of cases we might be looking at 10 years from now or even 20 years from now is something that the senators are probably taking into consideration when they're trying to determine whether or not they want to give her a lifetime appointment to the Supreme Court. I think that they should make careful consideration of that. I think that that it is fair for them to give that some careful examination and careful thought. But at the end of the day, I think that her credentials are unassailable. Her brilliance, her temperament, and her experience to be a Supreme Court judgment will not be able to be challenged, and that she should be able to get bipartisan support and be confirmed to the Supreme Court.
Well, as we've been saying, politics aside, it is in fact a historic choice. Judge Vanessa Gilmore. Judge, thanks very much for taking the time and share your reflections with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me so much.